You know, I enjoy dogs. You ever just watch a dog? Some dogs can run around in circles literally for hours, just go around and around and around, and actually just run around in circles not doing anything. Now, dog psychologists say this. Dog psychologists say that a dog believes that happiness is in his tail. And if he can catch his tail, he can catch himself some happiness. Well, a lot of people do the same thing. A lot of people are busy running around in circles looking for happiness, but it's always elusive. They just can't find happiness because it turns out to be that happiness is never located right behind you. Now, today's gospel reading coming out of the 16th chapter of Luke, verses 1 to 13 inclusive, is going to tell us the exact location of happiness. So let's take a look at verse 1a, the first half of the first verse of the 16th chapter of Luke. It starts off by saying, Jesus said to his disciples, a rich man had a steward. Now, back in biblical days, there were very few rich people. Since there were very few rich people, there were very few stewards, managers, who would take care of the rich person's property. So this exalted position, if you were lucky enough to be a steward, a manager, you had yourself one great job. Now, the relationship between the manager, the steward, and the rich man was a relationship of trust. It was a fiduciary relationship. Now, unfortunately for this steward, he started to do something that was going to cost him his job. Let's take a look at the rest of verse 1, the 16th chapter of Luke. So it says there, we're going to pick up to a little bit where we started, and then we'll gain the rest. A rich man had a manager who was reported to him for squandering his property. Now, what's amazing is this. The rich man hears these reports that my steward, my manager, is dissipating, selling off, squandering my property. Now, at this point, he doesn't know if it's true. He doesn't know it's false. But he's going to say to himself, I got to get to the bottom of it. But the rich man also realized what? To be a manager, a steward, was a great job. And it was a job that made a lot of other people jealous. Because they would look at your job and say, I would sure like to have that job. So if I could find a way to get you fired and get me hired, that's exactly what I'm going to do. And the rich man realized that. So instead of just quickly firing the manager, he's going to confront the manager first. I got to find out what's going on here. Let's take a look at what happens in verse 2 of the 16th chapter. So it starts off by saying he, that's the rich man, summoned him, that's the steward, the manager, and said, what is this I hear about you? There's these rumors going on. Prepare a full account of your stewardship. He's going to give this steward an opportunity. Tell me what is going on. Explain to me what you have been doing. Now, unfortunately, the steward realized what? The steward realized when I make a full accounting of what I've been doing, it's going to prove not my innocence, it's going to prove my guilt. I'm going to be done. When I tell the rich man what I've been doing, it's all over at that point. Now the manager realizes what? He realizes the infraction I have been committing has not only been against my boss, the rich man, it's also been against myself. Because I'm going to lose the one job that I'll never be able to replace. This incredible job was mine. And I decided to be greedy, and I wanted more, and I was selling off his property, and I was dishonest. And how am I ever going to regain and recapture that one which I once had? It was right in front of him to take. So this steward then comes up with this incredible idea. Look at verse 3. This is the assessment he makes when he realizes, I'm in trouble now. So the manager said to himself, what shall I do? Now that my master is taking the position of steward away from me, I am not strong enough to dig, I'm ashamed to beg, what shall I do? He realizes what? When it's too late. He's saying to himself, all these other things I can do, nothing can compare to the job of being a steward, of being a manager. That I will never be able to get back. I ruined it. It was right there in front of me, and I destroyed it. Where is happiness located? It's never behind you, as the dog thinks. Happiness is right in front of you. If you just enjoy and appreciate what you have, rather than finding a way to break it and destroy it. You know, it reminds me, and this I've encountered through all these years of being a priest, and it's happened to some friends of mine, Every so often I'll have a conversation and try to help someone out through very difficult struggle in their life. But there's a tendency for men and women, married people. You'll look at your wife or look at your husband and say, it's just not doing it for me anymore. They are. And you'll say to yourself, the person I work with down at work, the female there or the male there, they smile at me, they talk to me, they make me laugh, they make me feel good, and then some people conclude, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave my wife or leave my husband for that person because they seem so much better. I should have married that person first instead of the one I did. And so they separate. They get divided from the person they once were committed to. And usually in a very short period of time, what happens? They then realize what they once had is far better than what they got now. And they say to themselves, wow, I never realized my wife was that great until I hooked up with this gal. I never realized just what all my husband did until I hooked up with this fellow. And you say to yourself, how can I get my family back? You know, when that happens, there's so much collateral damage that occurs. When the sons or the daughters, especially if they're a little older, it doesn't take them that old to realize what's going on. When they see the hurt that the spouse who separated from their family put the spouse who remained in the house through, they get angry and aggravated. They might say, I don't want anything more to do with mom, or I don't want anything more to do with that. That's solid collateral damage. And you say to yourself, just like the manager, I had it all, but how do I get back? And when that happens, you say to yourself, how do I put my family back? You can't. How do I undo that which I did? You can't. Why did I decide to destroy that which was right in front of me when I was looking for happiness and I thought it was elsewhere? It was right there. Happiness has a geographical location. It's not behind you, it's in front of you. All you have to do is open up your eyes and look and see what you got. And then say, Heavenly Father, I appreciate what I have. Oh, my house might not be the best, but it's mine. My wife might not be the best, or my husband might not be the greatest, but they're mine. And the children I have, they're mine. How many people become upset and disappointed with their sons and daughters because for some reason they believe the neighbor has better, and they don't pay attention to that which they have? And then that which they have, if for some reason it walks away out of the house, if for some reason it's hurt or broken or destroyed, you say to yourself, how do I put it back together? How do I undo that which I broke? It was right in front of me. But for some reason I didn't accept, I didn't appreciate it. It reminds me, and I enjoy Greek mythology, it's a lot of fun. And King Midas, I think, is one of the great stories of Greek mythology, but really they all are. And King Midas was a fellow who had it all. He had wealth and a great daughter and a great wife, and everything he could possibly want was his. But King Midas wanted to become the wealthiest person in the world at that time. Dionysius, one of the Greek gods, granted King Midas a wish. Whatever you want, King Midas, will be yours. What would you like? Well, wanting to be the richest person in the world, King Midas said, well, I want everything that I touch to turn to gold. Everything. Now, Dionysius said to King Midas, are you sure that's what you want? Think about it. Are you sure that's what you want? Oh, that's what I want. No question about it. Okay, it's yours. Well, Midas was so happy about this wish that was granted to him, he ran to tell his daughter, and he gave his daughter a big hug, and she turned to gold. He went to tell his wife what happened to the daughter. He touched her, and she turned to gold. Midas got hungry, and he went to get some food to eat, and he touched the food, and it turned to gold. In a short period of time, Midas realized, my life was so much better before. I had it all. But for some reason, I wasn't satisfied, and I wanted more. And he went back to the Greek god Dionysius, and he prayed and he begged him, please, take this wish away from me. It's destroying me. I'm lonely, and I am hungry. Well, Dionysius granted the second wish, and he took the wish away from him, but he said, King Midas, when I take the wish away from you, you're going to become the poorest man on the face of the earth. You will have no wealth, but you'll have your daughter and your wife. That's good enough. They took the wish away from King Midas and he became extremely poor. But this is what he said in his poverty. He said, for the first time in my life, I am poor. By the first time in my life, in my poverty, I am rich. Because I have a great daughter and I have a great wife. And that's all I really need. It's right in front of me to enjoy and to feast on. That's what happened to the steward in today's gospel reading. This guy had it all. He was the envy of the community, but he wasn't satisfied because he wanted something else. And he destroyed and ruined that which is right in front of him. And he can never get it back. Dogs run around in circles because they are convinced that happiness is in their tail. And if they can catch their tail, they can catch themselves some happiness. And they can't. But they spend hours and days doing it. Most human beings do the same. We run around in circles looking for happiness. And where is it? It's not behind you. Happiness has a geographical location, and it's located right in front of you. All you got to do is open up your eyes and see what you have. See the wife that you have and be satisfied. Who else would put up with you? See the husband that you have and be satisfied. Again, who else would put up with you? See the sons and daughters that you have and realize they are the greatest. Oh, the neighbor has nice kids, but I don't want those kids because these are mine. I cherish them. I love them. They're right in front of you. That's where happiness is located. So in today's gospel reading, 16th chapter of Luke, verses 1 to 13, if you are looking for a happiness and it's been elusive up to this point, Jesus is telling us, guys, where's happiness? Happiness is located right in front of you. Just look and it's yours to have.